guys, so today I'm going to share the worst products that I tried in 2021. I tried some pretty bad products this year. Some of these I think maybe could work for certain people depending on your preferences, and then some of these I think are just all around fails and I don't think they would work for anyone, so hopefully I can help you save some money and avoid purchasing some bad products. So this first product I almost forgot about because it was in the very early part of this year that I tried it, but I've been keeping a running list of the worst products I've tried this year in my notes app on my phone, so I did write it down so I'd remember. But this is from the brand Estate, and it's their felt tip eyeliner pen. I got all of maybe 3 uses out of this eyeliner before it completely dried out, and I wasn't able to get any more product out, so that's a total fail. This I did receive in PR. I'm glad I didn't waste my money on it because I would have been pretty upset. Also, the packaging on this feels like about as cheap as it could get for an eyeliner like this. I mean, it feels so lightweight. I'm pretty sure half of this is totally empty, like wasted space, because you can see where the felt part that holds the ink sits, and then all of this is empty. So it just feels very cheap. It feels like something you would buy at the Dollar Tree, and I don't think this is the cheapest eyeliner out there. Yeah, it's $12, I just checked. So on their website, this has 5 stars. That cannot be, I don't know, maybe I just got a really bad one, but I don't know. I'm gonna judge it based on my experience with it, and it sucked, so. All right. Okay, so this next one is another product that I tried in the very early part of this year, so it's been a while since I've talked about these, but these Pacifica Pore Warrior Overnight Rescue Spot Dots, useless. Totally useless. These do not stick to your skin. There's really no point in these even existing. This was a Target impulse purchase. It was just so easy to grab and buy. I didn't even look up reviews before I bought it, which was my mistake because the reviews of this do confirm that they're just useless, they don't stick. So yeah, that was $7 down the drain that I'll never get back. You know, some products that are bad, you can still kind of make them work, but there's really just no way to get these to work. It doesn't matter if my skin is totally dry, I don't have any other skincare moisturizers on, they don't stick. So yeah, who knows if the ingredients are effective or not, because I wouldn't know, it won't stay on my skin. So don't make my mistake. Always read the reviews before you buy things. That's the lesson learned there. Oh, you know what? I'm looking now. It looks like they may have replaced these with a new version, because now these are like a clear dot. It looks like they now are like in a heart shape with a little rainbow design on them, so maybe they improved them. It seems like they probably took these off the market, which was a good call. They should have never been on the market in the first place, but kind of turned me off from even wanting to try any more from Pacifica, honestly. I just feel like it really irritates me when brands put out products like this that are just such a throwaway product. It's like such a cash grab. It looks cute. It's, you know, it's just one of those little things you grab off the shelf at the store without even really thinking about it. And it's just a waste. Like, this is just going to go to a landfill, and Pacifica kind of brands themselves as like a sustainable, eco-friendly, vegan company, and this is just the least sustainable, least good for the earth thing to ever exist. Okay, so this year I tried the brand Undone Beauty for the first time, and there were a few products from them that I loved, and then there were also a few products from them that I did not get along with. So which one do I start with? Let's start with the Conceal to Reveal palette. I know a lot of people like this. I just could not get this to work for me. So they do get a couple of points for innovation here because this is a cool concept. All of the product is in one pan, but there are 3 distinct strips in here that you can kind of see. It's sort of divided there, and each little section of the pan has a different level of coverage, supposedly, which is cool. I like that. I think that's a nice little concept. But number one, I did not like the texture of this. It's just way too emollient and balmy, and that's not always a bad thing. Especially with under eye products, sometimes that can be nice because it can be more hydrating, but for some reason this was balmy to the point of just looking textured and cakey on my under eyes. I would always get like a weird little separated area right between my under eye and the rest of my face makeup. Even the quote-unquote full coverage section of this pan never really gave me full coverage. It kind of just gave me this like bleh, thick layer of stuff on my under eye that didn't really do a whole lot. The other weird thing was that the shade would go on my skin looking way lighter than it looks in the pan, so this looks like it would be the right shade for me, but it actually was way too light. But even if I had the correct shade, I still wouldn't like the texture of this. So this was just a miss for me. I know a lot of people like this though. I don't know what it is about it that other people like. Maybe if you like a very emollient under eye product, you would enjoy this, or maybe you would like it for spot concealing. I just don't really spot conceal much, and I don't know, I just had trouble with it, so this was a miss for me. Another thing from Undone that I didn't like, and I did end up decluttering, but I held on to it just for this video, is their water bronzer. Another, like, okay, it's kind of cool, it's kind of innovative, it's like this very dark looking cream stick bronzer, but it goes on much, much lighter than it looks in the stick. I have the shade Baked. So the shade here is definitely a little bit on the orange side for me. I don't love how warm and orangey this pulls. One thing I did like about it is just that it does feel very cooling on your skin, which is kind of nice. Like, it just feels cold. That's cool, but it's just not enough to make me like this product because I don't like the way that this looks on my skin. I don't like the way it goes on. It would go on streaky. It was hard to blend. Definitely couldn't just apply it straight to my face, which I feel like you should be able to do with a stick product like this because that's kind of why it's designed in this format, so you can just easily apply it and then blend it out however you prefer. But I would have to pick it up with either my sponge or a brush and then apply it to my face, but even then it would still look just kind of patchy, streaky, just hard to work with, so I wouldn't recommend this at all. I just didn't like it. And then the third product from Undone, sorry Undone, I did have a couple things that I liked from them, but these three were just not good. This is their Indie Lash. This might even be my least favorite of the three Undone products that I tried. This is their mascara, and I really just hated the brush of this so much. I've never hated a mascara brush as much as I hate this one. It's just a dangerous setup for a brush because I'm gonna try to explain this in the best way that I can, but basically on two sides of the brush you have these outwardly curved, very sharp, long bristles you can see there. And then when you turn it this way, you've got two rows of straight across bristles. The thing about this that just makes it so annoying and difficult to use and even dangerous to use in my opinion is that if, let's say you're using the flat side of bristles to kind of comb through your lashes and then you turn this 45 degrees, you are stabbing yourself in the eyeball. Ouch, like it hurts. I did that once and it made me honestly never want to use this again. I did keep using it, but I had to be so careful with it because I was just terrified of poking myself in the eye. Like, I am someone that normally enjoys these kind of plastic bristle spikier brushes, but the way that these bristles are designed, it's such a bad design. On top of that, the formula did basically nothing for my lashes. Like, it just kind of coated them, but that's it. Like, I didn't really get much of anything from this, which Undone is kind of meant to be like a no makeup sort of brand, so fine, you know, if you're into just a very natural lash look, you might enjoy this. The only redeeming quality of this was that it did not smudge or transfer or flake, so I was able to use this as my lower lash mascara, and that's actually what I used it for, because I had some other mascaras that I was also trying to work through that did smudge, so those I would use on the top, and then this I would use on the bottom, so it was useful for that, and that's it, but I just hated how so extremely careful I had to be with this brush. I would not recommend that to anyone. I just think it's a terrible design. Okay, this next product might be the worst. I don't know, I think the actual worst is the Pacifica ones just because you literally can't use them, but these were really bad. These are the CoverGirl Easy Breezy Brow Fill and Define pencils. These come in a 2-pack, these cute little wooden pencils that also comes with a little sharpener, and it's like $3 maybe for this, and I thought this might be a really nice, very affordable brow pencil that I'd be able to recommend. I like that they're wooden because that's just less plastic being put out into the environment, so that I like. That was kind of the thing that drew me into them, but these are totally awful. Just the most stiff brow pencil I've ever experienced. Look at this. I've demonstrated this before, but just for one final time, just so we can all... This is me applying a pretty good amount of pressure onto my hand here. It's so stiff. I don't know. I just, horrible. Horrible. I don't know why these exist. Maybe if you like just like the lightest brow ever, maybe. But even to get a tiny amount of this to show up on your skin, you have to press down so hard that it's painful. You'll probably pull out some brow hairs in the process of trying to get this on. It doesn't go on evenly. The shade I have here is soft brown, which the outer packaging looks like a nice kind of cool toned taupey brown, but it actually pulls very warm, so even the shade wasn't good for me. I just can't recommend these. Another CoverGirl product while we're on it this was a surprising one that just, oh my god, it just looked terrible on me. This is their Cheekers blush in the shade Soft Sable. I really enjoy their Cheekers blush in Natural Twinkle, but this is almost like a highlighter. Like, it's just so sheeny. You can see there, it's like almost metallic. Every time I wore this on my cheeks, it just ended up looking like I had a highlighter that was way too dark all over my cheeks. It would give me that weird kind of shadowy look to it, and I normally like glowy blushes. It's not just that this is glowy, it's also just something about the formulation of this is it's just not good. It looked really weird on my cheeks, couldn't get it to blend very well. This might work better for you if you have a medium skin tone. Maybe that weird shadowy effect wouldn't show up on your skin. I much prefer the e.l.f. Bite Size Duo in Lychee. They're basically the same shade, and this I actually have on my cheeks today, just the matte side, layered over my e.l.f. Glistening Peach cream blush stick. The Cheekers blushes come in a few different finishes. I would recommend the more matte finish ones because this weird kind of glowy metallic one, is just weird. Just didn't work well. Another mascara, 2021 was a bad year for mascaras for me. Almost all the mascaras I tried this year I didn't like, but the two I'm talking about in this video, the Undone one and this one, were the standout worst ones for me. And this is the e.l.f. Lash It Loud mascara. I'm really sad to be including this in this video because I was so excited to try this. I thought I was gonna love it. It's got the kind of brush I love. It's, it's like super affordable, so I was really excited, but this just missed the mark for me. Not only did I feel like it didn't do much for my lashes, it definitely got better the longer I had it open. I remember the first time I tried this, it basically did nothing for my lashes, but once I had it open for a few weeks, it started to do a little bit more. Definitely not a volumizing mascara like it says, it's more lengthening to me, but anyway, this unfortunately smudged really badly on me. I made the mistake of trying to wear this on my lower lashes a couple times, and wow, it smudged so badly. Even after just not even doing anything, just like sitting in my apartment, my air-conditioned apartment at my desk, it still smudged. Now, when I wore it on only the top lashes, I didn't get nearly as much smudging. I still would get some, but not, it was like a manageable amount. But that's not a problem I really have with most mascaras, at least not to this extent. Maybe a little bit of transfer with some mascaras, but this one was just on another level. So I found that very disappointing. And on top of that, it also just didn't do that much for my lashes. I do like a very dramatic lash. If you like a very kind of soft, fluttery, separated and lengthened lash look with not a lot of volume, and if you are just not prone to smudging, maybe you would like this. But I don't know, I just still think there are just so many better mascaras out there. I would recommend over this, if you like this type of a brush, the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume Mascara. That one does more for my lashes. It's got a similar kind of rubber bristle brush, so it's good for separation, but it does volumize as well, so that's the one I would recommend over this one. I just don't think this is very good. This is the only high-end product on this list, but this was a major fail from Ilia. This is their liquid powder chromatic eye tint in the shade Dim. Ugh, wow, this was such a fail, I couldn't believe, and this is like a $30 product. So not only is the shade of this really unflattering on my skin tone, even looking past that, because on some skin tones, I'm sure this would be a lovely color. On me, it looked like I had a black eye, but overlooking that, this also was just the patchiest, most hard to blend liquid eyeshadow I've ever used. I would kind of just stick to one spot on my eye and then I wouldn't be able to blend it out. And then it also would dry down, which in some ways might be nice if you are just looking for a one and done liquid eyeshadow, you're not looking to layer anything else over it, but if you wanted to use this as an eyeshadow base, forget about it because your powder eyeshadows will not stick on top of this. Anytime I tried to use this as like a cream shadow base, no, it just looked awful. So I couldn't wear it on its own, I couldn't wear it underneath anything, so I would not recommend wasting your $30 on this. So the final fail of 2021 was this eyeliner from Profusion Cosmetics. This came with their Beam It Up eyeshadow kit, so it came with a little triangular palette, which I actually really ended up liking that eyeshadow palette. And then this was the other product in that kit that made it a kit, which I would rather them just sell the palette on its own. But they called this was so funny, they called this a neon eyeliner on the little box that it came in, and it didn't really give any indication of what the eyeliner looked like, what kind of color it was. I was assuming it was going to be a liquid eyeliner that was actually neon. I couldn't have been further off from what this actually is. So it's just your standard retractable eyeliner pencil, and this is the color. I'm sorry, on what planet is this neon? I feel like they straight up lied about what this was. Like, how could they have looked at this eyeliner and said, oh yeah, like we can call that a neon eyeliner and that'll make people more likely to buy this? Okay, it's not neon. They totally lied about the color, fine. Maybe it's still a nice eyeliner though. No, this is just incredibly waxy. Like, this is something that I would give to a child to use as an actual crayon for their art projects. That's what I would designate this for, because yeah, like, blends away in seconds. Like, it's gone. I didn't even have to apply much pressure. It just, no staying power whatsoever. So yeah, I did end up decluttering this in my most recent kind of end of year declutter video. Normally I try to rehome things that I think somebody else might enjoy. I just can't imagine anyone enjoying this. So I don't know. I don't even know what to do with this. It does annoy me when brands kind of just create these pointless products just for, like, for example, I feel like they just kind of threw this in so they could call it a kit so that it would sell, when the palette that it came with was perfectly nice on its own. Like, I think a lot of people would have still bought that even for the same price. And then they could have just left this out, not wasted the resources to create this, and nobody would have cared. Nobody would have been like, oh, I wish there were an eyeliner to go with this palette. Just a waste, just a total waste. Okay, I was just about to wrap up this video and then I realized I almost forgot to talk about the horrible sunscreens that I tried this year. I tried some really bad sunscreens this year. Every year I do a big sunscreen roundup where I try a bunch of face sunscreens, I rank and review them for you, and this year I tried a lot of really bad ones. I'm hoping that in 2022 I won't try as many awful ones, but I don't have any of these to show you today, but I will pop a photo on the screen of what these looked like. So the first one was the All Good Sunscreen Butter SPF 50+. This was a mineral sunscreen that came in a metal tin, so it was kind of like a low waste option. Love that. However, the sunscreen itself was just terrible. Just very thick, sticky, just your classic mineral sunscreen, but it was also like solid, so that made it even more annoying to work with. Yeah, that one was awful. The next awful one, there were two really bad ones that I tried from Juice Beauty. Totally turned me off from wanting to try anything from Juice Beauty ever again. The first one was their SPF 30 oil-free moisturizer, and the second one was their SPF 30 sheer mineral moisturizer. Honestly, those felt like kind of the same product. I'm sure there were some differences in the ingredients, but those were terrible. Had a bad, like, botanical essential oil kind of scent to them. Just, ugh, sticky. I can still feel what all of these felt like on my skin. Like, I can just remember how heavy they felt. Oh my goodness. The Raw Elements SPF 30 Tinted Moisturizer, this was another one that was in a metal tin. Thick, greasy, not as bad as the All Good one, but quite bad, quite annoying to wear. This one was actually also, I don't know if it was recalled, but it was one of the ones on the list of sunscreens this year where they had discovered that they contain benzene, which is a known carcinogen. Something to do with the supply chain or the factories where these sunscreens were being made, there was some kind of contamination, so that was another reason to avoid that one altogether. The Babo Botanicals Daily Sheer SPF 40, the non-tinted one of theirs. The tinted one was actually pretty good, although that one did break me out because of the coconut oil. The non-tinted one was so bad. So thick and white. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you watched my sunscreen roundup video this year, you saw that one. That one I think I actually struggled with the most. I probably in hindsight should have had that as my lowest ranked one. All of these that I'm mentioning right now, these were all basically tied for like the worst. But the Babo one was so bad. Again, Babo is another brand I have no desire to try anything else from. And then the last sunscreen fail this year was the Ren Clean Screen Mineral SPF 30. I know Ren is a popular brand. They're like a Sephora brand. This one was the most expensive out of all of these that I'm mentioning, almost $40 for this. Thick, white, kind of matte, but just not in a good way. I would get pilling. Yeah, that one was awful. I don't know why that one is even being sold. I thought it was so bad, especially for the price. I just don't know how brands get away with selling sunscreens that bad for that high of a price tag. Like, that just seems wrong to me, like morally wrong. I could see how somebody maybe wouldn't like some of these sunscreens if they weren't applying enough. Like, if you're just applying like a tiny pea-sized dollop all over your face, then sure, they're probably gonna work fine because that's a very small amount of sunscreen, but to get really the full SPF on the label, if you want to get the full SPF 30 or the full SPF 50 that's advertised, you really need to be applying a lot more. I tend to aim for like a 1/4 teaspoon for the face and neck, which is actually a lot more than it sounds like. A 1/4 teaspoon looks small, but that's a lot of sunscreen. So yeah, unfortunately those all sucked, and I would advise staying away from them. If you want to hear my favorite sunscreens this year, I did a video in addition to my mineral and chemical sunscreen roundups. I also did a video of I think it was my top 6 face sunscreens, so I can link that below for you if you want to hear some actual good sunscreens that I'd recommend trying. But those were my fails of 2021, the worst products I tried this year. Most of these products I didn't even really care to make them work for me because they just weren't even worth it. The only 2 that I did use and make them work for me were these 2 mascaras because I was able to use them. They just were not very good. So anyway, those are my fails of 2021. I will be back very soon with my best of 2021, and I have a very long list of the best products. If you're wanting to know what products I do recommend, definitely stay tuned for that. Also, I'd love to hear in the comments, what was the worst product you tried this year? Did you have any just total fails that you would like to caution the rest of us against buying? We can kind of help each other out, but I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow in my next video.